Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Leroy Carlton Show. I am your host, Leroy Carlton. And as always, God has the forefront and is the forefront of everything that we do. And I would like to start off with a quick prayer. Lord, it is a tall order to try and get rid of those things in myself that cause me to stop seeing others as you see them. You gave gifts to your ancient theologians and philosophers that I will never have. More than that, you gave them all a mighty faith to worship you and to stand before you with their struggles in life. Lord, I know that I put myself first far too often. I am wrapped up in my world, my dreams, my family, my friends. Help me to step aside from those things enough to be filled with compassion for others. Help me to represent you to the people I meet each day. I ask you to help me get out of the way of work that you would have me do. And all this I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, for those of you that are watching today, first of all, I want to thank you for coming to the show. But I always say that I have a special guest. But this guest is truly special because when I first met her, I met her through her parents. And some of you may know her parents, Francois and Grace Moore. Well, we were all in WFG, and she was getting awards one particular day with her parents. And she took her son and her daughter on the stage with her, and it was a great moment. And from that time, I would talk to her through Zoom, and we would talk about business and all kind of other things. And then situations happened and we kind of separated. But I've always tracked everything that she's done. She's always been a go-getter. She's always been energetic in wanting to go where she was trying to go. The one thing that I heard from her loud and clear is, I want to get away from Ford, and I'm going to get away from Ford. I had no doubt that she was going to make this happen. But where we were at the time, it just wasn't the vehicle to do so. But as always, God has a plan. So let me tell you a little bit about her. So, first of all, she is an impactful entrepreneur, strategist, and advocate creating avenues across the world that speaks to inclusion for all people, no matter race, class, mental, or physical ability. She was born and raised in the city of Detroit, Michigan. Kamry has always had a heart to serve and make a change in any way possible. Coming from an environment where dreams are dreams, poverty is a generational lifestyle, and success is working tirelessly to accomplish someone else's dreams, Kamry knew that she was destined for much more. She would soon graduate high school and attend Wayne State University in Detroit, majoring in psychology. Her psychology background has enhanced her skills to serve communities and impact the world, improving the stigma against financial literacy in low-income communities, advocating for inclusions across the country through her organization, HIPS, which means Hidden in Plain Sight, and enhancing personal brands through proven strategies. Her platform has benefited thousands of lives around the world. Now, not only is she a CEO of her own company, she has helped many people and is continuing to do so. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to my family, and I feel like she's my very own daughter, Miss Kamry Steger. Welcome.
Hi.
Did I do you justice?
Can I pack you up and just like take you on the road wherever I go? You are you are phenomenal. I just want to how much does that cost?
For
How much
you,
sorry.
nothing. For you, nothing. Wow. So now, did I say your last name right?
Yes, Steger. Yes.
Now, I know coming from where we came from
Correct.
to where we are now, you always had a great ambition to do something great. So, my first question to you, what gave you the idea to start your own agency?
So it's is there echo here? Um, and it's a funny situation anytime anyone asks me that question, because I don't believe anything that that has happened up to this point has been something that I wanted necessarily. It hasn't been something like I wasn't a kid like, hey, I want my own financial business. I didn't say I want to be an insurance agent. I didn't say I want a nonprofit. Like nobody, I'm not gonna say nobody. Well, not many children have dreams to do things like that. So I wouldn't say it was anything that necessarily pushed me to actually want to do that. I'm just I'm a faithful servant. so so
Okay.
I'm very spiritual. I'm very faithful to what God tells me to do. So and he knows I'm hard headed. So sometimes he has to tell me a few times. But I also know that if he gives us something and we don't answer that call, then we're gonna miss it. And I don't want to miss whatever God has for me. So I know that he birthed this nonprofit in my spirit a long time ago. But I also know a nonprofit I need profit, right? So he also said, I'm gonna give you the vision. Don't worry about the how. Just go, just move. And at the time, like you said, we were in another situation that did not give me the tools that I needed um, financially at the time um, to be stable. And then he placed other things along my path to help with that financial side of it, so that I could on the back end be stable to
Mhm.
work my dream or work the gift that he put inside of me. So it like I said, it was never anything that just had me say, hey, I want to sell life insurance, or hey, I want to be a financial agent. It was just he put something in my path to say, I'm going to stabilize you financially so that you could carry out the gift that I birthed inside of you.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Looking at your family dynamic,
Mhm.
it's a two-part question.
Gotcha.
How has your mom impact what you are doing right now?
Mhm.
And how has your dad impact what you're doing right now?
So and it's funny because I know a lot of people, like growing up, especially in our community, we're taught that your parents aren't your friends, your kids aren't your friends. I'm not one of your little friends, but I really do think my mom is my best friend. Like I really believe like she is my best friend. Like she knows more about me than anybody. She knows when I don't say anything. She knows me, and I think just having she has been the most impactful person in any of this in
Mhm.
any of this just some like there have been plenty of times where I have had to lean on her belief in me to even get to where I'm going. So that's I could talk about my mom all day. She has literally been everything to me on this journey. um there have been times when I even like I because I always have to try things first. Like whether you say it's right, I have to try it to know that it's not gonna work, but I'm gonna try it. But she even when I try things and they don't work out, she's still going to be there. Like she's gonna say, okay, but if that's what you want to do, I'm gonna let you do it, and I'm going to help you get to it. So she might, even if it's she's obviously not going to agree with everything that I'm doing, but she still supports every single thing. And not only support, she's there to say like, how can I be hands on? How can I help? So yeah, she's been everything. As far as my father, he so a lot of people wouldn't know this because like we are such a close family. That is that's my stepfather, but nobody would ever know that. And I'm never going to take anything like that away from him. But just him, and I only highlight that because everybody would just right on back. They wouldn't know that he's my stepfather because of how close we are as a family. And I really think that that has been everything as well, because he has been somebody that I never looked at as a stepfather, because he's always been that role. And just growing up, it's been very impactful to see, or just like growing up as a young woman, to see how a woman is supposed to be treated, how a woman is like what type of, especially coming into certain industries, I
Hmm.
have to know how to, hold my ground. I have to know not to take certain things. There was times when we were, my sister and I, when we were younger, and he would tell us like, "I'm going to like take you guys certain places, so nobody can ever think that they're showing you a life that you aren't already accustomed to." So he's been everything as just as a man in my life,
Hmm.
and showing me what showing me how to set boundaries. He's been everything in that position. Yeah.
That's my brother. Okay. Now, we know you have two beautiful little ones.
Yes, I do.
How have they impact your life? And I know that you do a lot of stuff
Yeah.
for your daughter
Mhm.
as well as your son,
Yes.
but how have the two of them impact your life?
Sheesh. Um, God, I don't think, um,
It's okay to cry now.
I don't think that I 1000%, and I 1000% know that, my calling was attached to them. Like I 1000% am confident in saying that they had to be here for me to be where I am. Um, Especially with my daughter. So if anybody who's watching and didn't know my daughter, she was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, right when she turned 18 months. So and during that time, I had also been recently diagnosed with depression, with general anxiety, and yeah, I was diagnosed with anxiety, and you have me on a live show, but it's fine, it's cool. So at that, there was a very dark time, and it was a very dark time, but um and kind of just like knowing having a special needs child in general is going to be heavy for anyone, especially when you have those type of things going on. So but like I said, I'm always like at that point, that's when, so I like to say, like, you never can really say that you know God until you have experienced him. So it was
Right.
at one of our darkest times. It was at the peak of her just being diagnosed, just for trying to find specialists that worked with her, just trying to figure it all out. And in that time, it was just like, I can't even sustain myself. I don't know what to do anymore. I completely checked out. And at that time, it was this one particular day. It was June 22nd, 2020. I was at Sarah Jakes Roberts. She had a tour, and it was at that event. I would never forget that. It was at that event where I completely just like broke down. And that same night, uh, that's when my nonprofit was birthed. That's when he told me. That's when I experienced my calling. That's when I had that true encounter.
Mhm.
And of course, at that time, you never really know like the journey, but he shows you, and he said everything that you want, every bit of joy, everything that you want is connected to this. So it was really in that moment where I realized just them, and not even just her, just them. Because even my son, I really, anybody that meets Blake, my anybody that meets him, he's like 80 in an 8-year old's body. he's
Yes,
he's
he
an
is.
he has an old soul, but it helps so much, because there were times when I'm with her, and I'm not fully like, I'm almost like I'm not, I feel uncapable in those moments, and he will lift my head up. He's just like, "Mom, do you need anything? What are we doing? Let's get it done." So it yeah, that was really like a dark time for me, but just having an encounter with God and noticing, or realizing that um I was going through all of that for a reason. And it wasn't just her that birthed that. Also, my son being there just being there as his old soul holding me up, that was everything to me as well. So they have been, they are phenomenal. They are amazing kids. They are amazing.
Okay. Well, as you see I don't know if you can you see the comments on the screen?
Yeah, I did just see a few pop out.
Yeah, they're gonna keep popping up. So just so you know, they're gonna keep popping up. But my next question to you, tell us about hips.
Yeah, so that's I feel like that I have two kids, but hips is my baby. That's my baby. It's so and like I said before, he doesn't really always show us the how. He doesn't really show us the specifics, but he tells us, I need you to do it. And he shows us the end goal, but he doesn't really show us the journey. So there were a lot of times I questioned, like, how, what do you want from this? I just need you to move. So I created hips, and of course, when it came to, I knew that so in a nutshell, the main goal is to provide resources to families with children with special needs. So I created a website. I made sure, like, crossed all my t's, dot my i's, make sure that I can put as much information to help, as many resources to help, because I realized just with raising her, there were a lot of resources that weren't easily accessible, and I know there are so many other families going through that. So I just knew, like, once I started, as I started gaining resources, I just wanted to be able to share it. So I created the website. I put all the resources there, and then it became to a point where it kind of felt stagnant. So I have all the resources out there. I'm not sure who's kind of like who's checking it out. And then one night, so it was one night, I was like kind of just putting more information on the site, and then that same night he kind of just gave me a dream out of nowhere. Everything that he does is kind of just like sudden, and he's just like, I need you to do it. So, and it's always something like drastic. So that same night, it was actually, I saw him in a dream, and he it was a playground. And during that time, it was and I think around that time, like, so I always try to spend a lot of time, especially on weekends. I like to take my kids places. I like for them to explore. I just want them to, to be able to enjoy life. Especially with her, I just want her to be able to know that she's able to there are no limits. And that's really the mindset she has. There are no limits. So I like to take them places, and I noticed there were a lot of places that we took her that weren't necessarily accessible for children with special needs. So
Mhm.
there was one night, he kind of he showed me a vision. There was an all-inclusive playground where, children can go all with all needs. They're just barrier free. They were that the next morning, I started looking into all inclusive barrier free playgrounds. Within I think about the 10,000 parks within the U.S. alone, or I think there were about 30,000 parks in the U.S. Only one less than 1% of them had all-inclusive barrier-free playgrounds. So I started looking more local, because obviously can't change the world at once. But I started looking more local. There was not one near the city of Detroit, near my own city. So,
Wow.
and that's when he was just like, I need you to have Detroit's first barrier-free playground. So that's the goal right now. There's a lot going into it. There's a lot that goes into it, obviously, with land development, with zoning and things like that. But and he was very, very, very particular. I need you to have Detroit's first barrier free playground. And at that time, again, it's like, all right, I have enough going on. I know that's a large project. And he's just like, again, move. I just need you to do it. And then it's just it's interesting when just God gives you something, and you know that somebody's deliverance is connected to your calling. So
It's true. That is true.
it was definitely it's been a journey, but it's been beautiful to just to know that people are being impacted by something I didn't even know would grow to be what it is and what it's going to be. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to know the purpose behind it. It's beautiful to know that there's a legacy connected to it, and it's beautiful to know that there are generations that are going to be helped from it.
Well, we have a question for you
Mhm.
from Nikki Brooks. How did you manage? That's a lot of plates turning all at the same time.
Yeah, it is. Um, Definitely just time management is definitely key, and I'm still figuring that all out. But getting up earlier, managing your time properly, and yeah, just I have I still have the pen and paper planners where I have to write it. For some reason, the phones just don't work out for me. The calendar is planner. I have to tangibly see it. So I don't have my, but I have a book, a planner that I still write, and I have to see it for it to be real. And then yeah, organization, time management. That was a lot, and
Uh-oh.
happen. There we go. Yeah, in business, they of course you've heard it before because we've been on these calls where they tell us to know your why. I know that it has to happen. It has to happen through me, and I can't give up. So it's a lot, but I know there's a purpose attached to it. So I can't give up.
Well, I'm sure you won't, and I know your parents ain't gonna let you.
Absolutely not.
So, so
Absolutely not.
looking at all you have accomplished, because I've saw the magazines you were in, I saw the articles. I told you I'm always tracking you. And here's my next question to you.
Mhm,
Looking at your age and what you have already accomplished, I'm sure God has a lot more in line for you.
mhm.
But where do you see your future going for your agency as well as yourself?
Yeah. So I am a old whopping season 25, and in this in this time it has definitely been it has been a long 25 years. But just knowing, I think the end goal, just on I say on earth, it's just freedom. And then again with having children, I've seen the side of limitations where they've told my daughter, like, yeah, you can come to school, but there are certain stipulations, or yeah, you can come, but you'll have to be limited to this, or but then once I actually started building an agency, and started, setting myself up, I was able to get her into any schools. I was able to, there weren't any limitations. So just having the resources, um to be free, to be able to be unlimited, and that's just on earth. Freedom is the number one goal, and then in the end, all I want is a well done. Once we leave here, all I want is to know that whatever God wanted for me, I did that. I did that. Whatever he wanted to see happen from me, that's all I want. No matter what happens down the line, I just want to know that I did my part. Because I don't care what anybody else thinks on this earth. When I that is the scariest thing. I don't want to get up there and he says, "You do I know you? Don't deny me. I hear you. I'm gonna do whatever it is you need me to do." I That is the end goal. I just want a well done. I just want
Okay.
to know that I did my part.
Well, we have another question from a person you know and love.
Oh,
What
hi,
is your
Mama.
what is your current goal for hips?
Again, just I just want it to, so right now, again, just being able to, right, again, that playground just here, and then being able to, be a name large enough to be able to go to other playgrounds, and start like revamping them. Not instead of, so I know this one I want to construct on my own, and construct a full barrier free playground, but then applying, playgrounds all across the world with the necessary tools they need for all children. I just want a world where people Don't look at disabilities, or don't look at people that are different than them and see them as less than, or see them as, or see something negative. I want people to be knowledgeable. I want to provide resources so that people can have an understanding, can be knowledgeable, and um, help them feel included. I want inclusive. I want to see inclusivity, because, like I said, I've seen the other side of that, and I really think the end goal is just to have a world that sees inclusivity, and um, that mandates inclusion in every aspect of our lives.
Okay, we have another question for you, and this is from Shalanda. How important is self care to you, and how do you manage to make sure you are in a good place mentally and physically?
Hmm. Um, I look, I talk a lot about God. It really didn't, because like I was talking about earlier, my mental health has not always been 100%, but it really took a lot of prayer, a lot of prayer. It took a whole lot of it took a lot of that. And then just taking time out to kind of just like self reflect. Like there are we do a lot in a day. We wake up, we go, just and then changing certain habits, waking, not just waking up and go, not just waking up and hopping on Instagram, not just waking up and checking our messages and emails. Because I was good for waking up and just hopping straight into emails. Who does that? But just waking up, taking time to reflect on how I'm feeling, how everything around me is going, and then taking that time to spend with God as well, before the kids are up, before the lights are on, just taking that time, and then again, like, time throughout the day. So that was one of my main goals, is to at least check, at least 3 times a day, morning, night, and then midday, to take a check, to pray, to talk to God, to kind of just internalize, like, my thoughts, to make sure. So yeah, just taking observation of yourself, and then spending time for that. And then I always have to make sure I throw in some self-care days as well. Like, if self-care days can just be like not working one day and rest. There was every time. So my kids, they go out a lot. They go to shows, they go to park. They are popular. They are a little bit more popular. They go a lot of places. And then every time they go out, I'm like, I'm gonna go out and go shopping. Every time they leave, I go to sleep. I rest. I get my rest. So that is important as well. And I also notice, you just have to know kind of what drives you. I noticed, like, if there is a lot going on around me, if there's a lot going on in my space, my mind is not clear. So you just have to know what kind of makes you happy. I know I like to be around water in the summer. I might just go to the Riverwalk in Detroit, or I would say shopping, but I'm never going to encourage that. I
Right.
am never going to encourage shopping.
Right.
That is one of that could be self care too. Um, yeah, just know what kind of makes you happy. You have to know what makes you happy, know what brings you joy, know what brings you peace. Like I said, I like to sleep. So I will rest. If I will make time to sleep. Yeah, you just have to know it brings you peace. But self-care has definitely been something that I had to start doing it. It changed my life tremendously.
Okay. Okay. Wow, we've come a long way. We've come a long way.
Yes.
Well, I was always one to enjoy when we got on Zoom and we would talk, and we talked about everything. So here's my next question.
Mhm.
Looking at where you are now, and you're only 25,
Yes, I am.
what would the 25-year-old tell the 15-year-old Cam? What advice would you give to that person right now?
15. What was I doing at 15? That sounds like it was so long. What was that was only 10 years. Jesus Christ. 15. Oh, wow. Um
Tough question,
I
ain't
think I would, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Just I would say mainly just to love yourself. Love yourself first. I was definitely always one to um put everyone's needs before mine, to and not putting enough focus into myself. So it's very simple. Just love yourself. And I think if I learned that earlier, yeah, it would have helped a lot.
it? Okay. This is a whopping question. Now, being as though we all came from WFG,
Mhm.
what was the one thing that you took from WFG that applies to what you're doing right now?
Wow. There was actually a lot, and I'm really grateful for even this industry. It helped a lot with self development, because even now, I read a lot of books. I'm an advocate reader. You were definitely half of the reason these books are up here. It made me read. It made me take heed and take note of what I was actually feeding myself daily. Like it definitely made me internalize a lot of what I was putting into, what habits I was doing daily. The habits, it was definitely, it definitely made you check yourself a lot, just coming into this industry. So self development is that number one thing I would say. It 1000% was the best thing that I could have taken away from it.
Okay. Well, you think I had some books for you then. Whew.
Oh, I know it.
You ain't
I
said
know
nothing yet.
it. I know it.
Okay. Looking at everything that we have accomplished, right? And I know how you feel about your family. I know a lot of majority of the stuff that you went through from what you tell me. And then I look at the closeness of you and your mom. If there was just one thing in your life that you could change, and it don't matter what it is, what would that be?
Um, hmm. I can 1000% say there is not one thing that I would change. I can confidently say that. And um yeah, there were a lot of challenges. There were a lot of low points, but um I know everything. I know God is very intentional in my life. I know there's nothing that has happened that's been by happenstance. I know there's nothing that happened that wasn't to serve a greater purpose. Um, I can't say there's one thing that I would change. Like, no, it's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I can't say there's one thing, because I know everything was to serve a greater purpose. There's not one thing I would change.
Great answer.
Mhm.
Great answer. I like that. Okay, so where do you see Camry going 10 to 20 years down the line?
Mm. Um, what's that? That's only 35. That's crazy.
Yeah, you still young. You still
Right.
young.
Where
Yes,
do
yes, you are still
Wow.
young. It don't
35, 45. Where do
that
I
sound like
see?
a lot of years, but
It
when you
does.
add it to your age, you still young.
When you put it into perspective, it's not. Jeez. Uh, where 30, I definitely want to. I know one thing that I have not necessarily, one call I've not necessarily answered, as in fullness. Um, I know that I'm supposed to be. Did it come back? It went out for a second.
Yeah, it came
Okay.
back.
Um, I know that I'm supposed to be empowering more, motivating more, inspiring more, just speaking more. Because the state that the world is in now, I know we need more of that. I know we need more love being shared, more wisdom being shared. And I know that I have been called to do that. And I have not been doing that in totality. And I know by 35, I definitely will be there. So yeah, just I want to be an inspiration, and I'm going to be. And yeah, that's where I see 10 years. Inspiration. I see hips being um, national, international. I see that being. I see um, worldwide support, because I think up until this point, it's like I think, was it Nikki? I think she commented. She's like, that's heavy. It definitely is a lot on my plate right now, but I know that it won't be something that I have to carry alone for too long. But I know I just have to set the foundation now so that people want to be a part of it. So just seeing everything that I'm kind of like in the groundwork saying right now, seeing that in its fullness in totality is where it's going to be 20 years from now.
It's
Major,
amazing, ain't it? It took
major.
you 20 years to get to 20, but it's only going to take you 10 to get to 30. Isn't that
Yikes.
crazy? And you ain't too far from it.
Yeah,
Wow.
no. Mm-mm.
Well, I gotta say, Camry, you doing some big things. I
Thank you.
personally are very proud of you
I appreciate it.
because
Thank you.
I watch where you came from to where you are now.
Yeah.
And I love your parents to death. They know that. You know, like I said, situations took us apart from everything that we were doing.
Yeah.
But when I saw your parents, it was like there was no time between
No
us.
time.
We
No
had
time. Yeah.
It's like we picked up where we left off.
Hmm.
I'm taking pictures with them. We talking. I'm talking to your dad like I've been talking to him for weeks.
He's a cool guy. He's a pretty
talking
cool
to
guy.
your talking to your mom like I've been around her forever. Like we didn't
Mhm.
miss a beat. But that's what good people do.
Yeah.
And you are one of those good people.
I appreciate you.
So
And this platform in itself, I know, before we were just starting on Zoom, just with book clubs and stuff, and you've always been um very, and like you were saying before, something about like my psychological background. You are really that person. Like you've always been the guy to be on the forefront, wanting to know like the deeper reasons of why and how people's mind, how the mind works. So just to see it being on this platform, I definitely commend you. This has been something that's been birthed inside of you, and you've had the gift, so that's amazing.
well, I thank you for that because like you, and I know you remember Jason,
I
old
love Jason.
Jason Bove. Yeah.
I love Jason.
Well,
Jason's probably the coolest guy this
yeah.
planet has to offer. Jason's such a cool guy.
Um, I called Jason
Mhm.
and I said, "Hey, I need to tell you something." And he was like, "What? What's going on?" You know how you talk so fast. What's going on?
So
What's happening?
energetic.
And I said, "Look, man, I had a dream." And he said, "What kind of dream?" I said, "I had a dream that I'm supposed to do a talk show or something."
Mhm.
And Natalie said, "Well, Leroy, when God gives you a vision, he also gives you a name."
Yeah.
And I said, "It's just so funny because when I had this vision, I said, the person I was interviewing was you. And
Wow.
he was like, for real? And I was
Wow.
like, yeah. He said, well, what's the name of the show going to be? I said, the Leroy Carlton show.
So,
He
yeah.
said, are you serious? I said, yeah. And you need to be my first guest.
Mm,
And he was. He was my first guest. We did the first show and it was a hit.
he's awesome.
It was a hit. So you getting those visions, oh, believe me, I understand.
Mhm.
I
And
understand.
you did the right, and you moved, you acted on it. So that is amazing. That's commendable. That's
But
awesome.
I also,
Is that
um,
Tommy?
yes, it
Hi.
is. Yes, it is.
Hi. I haven't seen her in so long. Hey.
Yes, it is. And I also have another show that I started called
Really?
Women Rising. Women
Oh,
empowering women. Look at her. Look at her.
hey. I haven't seen Tommy in so long.
And I definitely want to get you on that show. And
Absolutely.
that show is just women talking about issues that affect women
Mhm.
and empowering other women.
That's amazing. Absolutely. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
did I did the first show. I host the first show, but
Mhm.
I'm going to move myself out of that and just let the women do their thing.
Is Tommy
And
gonna be here?
Miss Nikki is one of the people on the show.
Awesome. Yeah,
She's one
whatever.
of the women that's on the show.
Absolutely. Look, when you guys, whenever you guys call, I'm there.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Whenever
Don't
you guys call, I'm there.
believe me, I got you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you hear, yeah, matter of fact, while we on here,
Mhm.
put out your information, your website, and how a person can get in touch with you if they want to help you with hips
Mm,
and your agency.
absolutely. I think the easiest way to go, my link tree, you can just go, I think it's just Linktree slash, it's ITS Camry, Kamry and then you'll see everything right there. It's Linktree dash it's Camry S, or I think it's Camry.s, and then you'll have all the links attached to that. But I mean, I could go down all the social media, Facebook,
Well,
you
I
know,
put
Camry
I put your
Steger.
Instagram up there,
Mhm.
so they see that going across the screen.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep. I have an Instagram for Steger Agency. I also have Hips is its own person. She is her own gal, so she has her own Instagram. I think it's Hip Michigan, or it's Hips of Michigan, and then the website hipsmichigan.org.
okay,
StegerAgency.com is my website. So yeah, the link tree is the easiest way to go. You can just find everything there. But yep, it's links again, Linktree dash it's Camry.s. You can find everything there. And then yeah, my Instagram is down there as well. In my bio, you can find all of that information as well.
okay. Well, I said I
But
am so proud of you. Keep doing great
thank
things.
you so much.
I will
Thank you
be
so much.
there.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Great conversation. Keep going, Camry, with God always first. I know that's right.
Always,
And
always, always.
mom, make sure she put it
I
up
love
there.
my mama. I love my mama.
Yep. So
She's awesome.
everybody that's been on the show, thank you so much for coming on to the show. Reach out to Camry if you can help her in any way. Please do. And I'm here whenever you need me. You my
Of course.
girl, and I love you to
And
death.
likewise, likewise.
So
I
again,
thank you for the
everybody,
opportunity.
go ahead.
I was saying I thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, no doubt. I have to showcase you. You're doing
I
big
appreciate
things.
you.
But everyone that came on the show, thank you. And also, text me your address because I have a gift for you that I'll send to you. And everyone, again, this is the lovely Kamry Steger, CEO of Steger Agency LLC and Hips. So if you want to know more information, please hit her on social media. go to her website. And if you can help her in any way, please do, because she is doing some awesome stuff. And I need for you all to support that.
Thank
So,
you.
again, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for
I will
having me.
definitely contact you about being on Women Rising, because you are
Oh,
definitely one of those women.
thank you.
And we will go from there. I'm gonna
Awesome.
put you in the back of the studio, so don't leave.
I'll be here.
All right. Well, everyone, I thank you for getting on to the call. It's been a great call. I got to sit down with my family and chop it up. So, and you heard all the great things that she's doing. Come next week, I'm going to have two more guests, which is Rosie Thames. She does a lot of stuff with the military. She is a motivational coach. She does so much stuff. And then I'm doing a show with Rodney Burris, who's a motivational speaker. He's also a coach and an emotional intelligence agent, and he is from Baltimore, Maryland. So I look forward to you coming on to the next Leroy Carlton show. As always, stay blessed, God bless, and see you at the next show.